Hello and welcome to an episode of Historically Marked. I am Jason in Columbia, Missouri, and I am at a state historic site, Jewell Cemetery. The Missouri Department of Conservation and State Parks wanted to preserve this special cemetery, and it has two notable burials, and there's a historical marker here. So I'm going to go ahead and check out this small historic cemetery. Here we go. All right, so in order to get here, you got to go 163 or Providence Road, and you got to take like a frontage road to get here. And it's very developed. It's kind of, you know, just surrounded by a lot of townhouses and houses and apartments and a Waffle House. But yes, right here is the Jewell Cemetery State Historic Site. You can come here anytime during daylight. It's got a nice arched entrance. And down here it says, no one, not the husband, wife, or child of a descendant of George Jewell can be buried here. See record book L page 103. Got it. Okay. And I'm going to open this gate. And here's that marker. I'll go ahead and read it off to you, starting with the significance of the cemetery. This cemetery is part of the former farmstead of George Jewell, who lived from 1769 to 1844. The Jewell family first moved from Virginia to Kentucky, then Franklin, Missouri, and finally Columbia, Missouri in 1821. George, his son William, and sons-in-law Charles Hardin, father of 22nd Missouri Governor Charles Henry Hardin, and William Hitt, were all prominent in the community. All served on road commissions in the county court and helped shape the early community in various endeavors. The first person buried in the cemetery was Cynthia Jewell, William's second wife, in 1822. The family cemetery was officially set aside in June 1841. By then, there were at least 3 others buried here. Many of the graves are elaborate and marked with head and footstones. The above-ground box tombs do not contain human remains, but they mark the locations of graves. The 2 rows of graves along the west wall of the cemetery are thought to belong to slaves. The surrounding stone walls were built between 1841 and 1852. Wow. That's old. And then for more information, visit the Jewell Cemetery State Historic Site. In 2010, Jewell Cemetery was named one of Columbia's most notable properties by the City of Columbia Historic Preservation Commission. And it does talk about Dr. William Jewell and Charles Henry Hardin, but I'll just go to their graves and tell more about their lives. And just right in front is the final resting place of the 22nd Missouri Governor Charles Henry Hardin rather. But he did serve from 1875 to 1877. Let me just read this off real quick. Okay, Christian statesman, philanthropist, as lawyer, legislator, state senator, and governor. Faithfully, he discharged his duty in 1880. He laid down at the feet of Jesus all his earthly honors, and attached himself to the Baptist Church. Sorry. When the summons came for him to enter the church triumphant, gladly he obeyed, and now rests on that bright shore, where alone peace sheds her light. And one long day, undimmed by night, farewell for a little while away. For a little while, Mary. July 15th, 1820 to July 29th, 1892. He was born in Kentucky in 1820, but he grew up in Columbia, Missouri, and was educated at the University of Indiana and Miami University in Ohio. He received his law degree from William Jewell College, which had been named for his uncle, and eventually set up a law practice in Fulton, which is not too far from here. During the 1850s and 60s, he served in both houses of the state legislature. During the Civil War, Hardin and his wife moved to Audrain County, where they remained for the duration of the conflict. Branded by some as a Southern sympathizer, he moved just north of Mexico, Missouri in 1865 and built a farm home, and he remained there for the rest of his life. In addition to his service as governor, he established the Mexico Southern Bank and was president of the Missouri Baptist Ministerial Aid Society, and was a trustee at William Jewell College. He was also the founder of both Hardin College and the Missouri Military Academy in Mexico, Missouri. He was originally buried at his farm home in Mexico, Missouri, but in 1894, his remains were moved here. All right, so just a couple rows is William Jewell. And while I'm at it, I'm going to take a look at some of these old-fashioned headstones. Yeah, I can't believe that. I mean, it's not really hard to believe, but I mean, yeah, 150 years ago, this was a farmstead. And I mean, Columbia has really developed over the years, and it keeps gaining population as long as there's a college here, the university, that is. But the population is now at 108,000, which is definitely big. But here's the man that is responsible for bringing the state university here in Boone County. All right, so Dr. William Jewell, son of George Jewell, had been labeled the Thomas Jefferson of Boone County by local historians, and that's because he had a lot of interests in medicine, architecture, real estate, politics, education. He was born in Virginia in 1789, well, January 1st to be exact, according to that stone. And he moved to Kentucky at age of 10. He attended Transylvania College in Lexington, Kentucky, and studied medicine under a practicing physician there. And his career in Missouri started in Franklin, which did not last long. It only lasted for not even a few years. It was a river town not too far from Booneville, but it was washed away by a flood. But he eventually settled here in Columbia, which was about, I want to say, 30 miles east of there. But his medical practice flourished, and he added to his wealth through land speculation. He was later elected mayor of Columbia, and he oversaw the paving of city streets, and he served in both houses in the state legislature. He was also a generous contributor to the Baptist Church and the college at Liberty, Missouri, which bears his name. He also helped design the old Boone County Courthouse, and the columns of which are remaining standing today. And lastly, as far as education, he was a champion of it, and was a member of the Board of Trustees of the Columbia Female Academy from 1833 until his death. He also voted for an act establishing Columbia College and was chairman of the committee to make Boone County the highest bidder for the state university. He personally contributed $1,800 to his fundraising effort. And as you can see, somebody left a flower there. Oh, nice. But yeah, I mean, I think this has been kept up really nice by the state. And I believe this is either one of 3 or one of 4 cemeteries that is noted as a state historic site. I visited 2 already and made episodes out of them, like one with Daniel Dunklin and the other one with in Sappington, and the African American one. But I think there's also a Jewish cemetery that the state runs here in Missouri. And it looks like uh-oh, something got torn out or something. All right, thanks so much for tuning into this episode of Historically Marked. I am Jason at the Jewell Cemetery State Historic Site in Columbia, Missouri. Hope you learned a little bit of something about Missouri's past leaders and some history here local-wise in Columbia, Missouri. So I'm signing off.